Get ready, because today I'm going to talk about some of the most effective and exciting villain tropes. By the way, my name is Brandon McNulty. I'm the author of Bad Parts, also the author of Entry Wounds, and welcome to my writing channel. Last week I did a video on my most hated villain cliches. So today I thought we'd get positive. We'll focus on 5 of the best villain tropes out there. I'll explain what each one is, why it works, and I'll give you an example of each. And also, if you're worried about spoilers, here's a list of the stories I'll be discussing today. First trope that I love is cornering the hero. And this is when the villain traps the hero in a dangerous situation where there is no apparent escape. And I love it because it demonstrates the villain's power, intelligence, and skill. It shows that the villain is effective in carrying out their goals. And it also works well because it forces the hero to make a difficult choice. And this often spurs character development, because when the hero faces a serious dilemma, that's when they have to make a choice, and that choice reveals true character. And it often can lead to some of the most memorable moments in storytelling. For an example, let's look at Empire Strikes Back. And I specifically chose this example because in last week's video I said that join me proposals, I said that they were one of the worst villain cliches. And people were quick to point out that Darth Vader's famous join me moment was a great one. And I agree with you. And it works mainly for 2 reasons. First of all, Vader completely shatters Luke with the big I am your father revelation. And secondly, Vader backs Luke into a corner where his only apparent options are either joining Vader or falling to his death. Luke has no weapon, he has no viable escape route, and that's what makes the join me dilemma here so compelling. Luke eventually chooses to fall to his apparent death, and that choice says a lot about Luke and what he believes in. And this section of the story also says a lot about Vader. He lures Luke into Cloud City, then he drives him to the edge of an abyss, and then finally he destroys him physically before dropping a bombshell revelation. Vader is powerful, he's in control, and we also learn why he's been so protective of Luke up till this point. Second trope that I love is the wise villain speech. And this is a speech in which villains shed light on their motives, thought processes, and worldviews. These speeches are often stylish, intelligent, and captivating, and they may challenge the hero's beliefs, and they may criticize society's flaws. And oftentimes this creates a thematic battleground where the villain lays down an argument that the hero must refute. And there are a lot of great examples of these speeches. The Dark Knight is full of them, and one particular standout is when the Joker criticizes Batman's personal code and his loyalty to the police.
To them, you're just a freak. Like me. They need you right now. But when they don't, they'll cast you out. They're only as good as the world allows them to be. I'll show you. When the chips are down, these civilized people, they'll eat each other.
Another example comes from Training Day. Here you have Alonzo Harris. He's a corrupt narcotics officer, and he challenges his rookie trainee by painting a picture of the war that they're fighting out on the streets of Los Angeles.
What more you want?
I want justice, right?
Is that not justice?
That's street justice.
What's wrong with street justice?
Oh, just let the animals wipe themselves out,
God
right?
willing. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. The good guys, they die first, right? They don't want to catch the stray bullets in the noodle. To protect the sheep, you got to catch the wolf. And it takes a wolf to catch a wolf, you understand?
These types of speeches do a great job of revealing character and establishing the stakes. And as a bonus, they're also mesmerizing to listen to because we get the villain's perspective. Third trope that I love is the femme fatale. And this is a romantic interest who uses charm, intelligence, and seduction to manipulate the hero. And oftentimes this leads the hero into disastrous situations. And I love this trope because it creates complex romantic subplots. In some cases, the audience will initially trust the femme fatale and later become devastated when the hero is betrayed. In other cases, the audience will suspect that the femme fatale is bad right from the start, and they'll dread the inevitable outcome. Either way, these types of romantic subplots add some spicy tension to the story, and they can wound the hero in the short term or in the long term by making the hero unwilling to trust people. And one other thing I want to throw out there is that femme fatales themselves tend to be captivating, mysterious, and dynamic. Sometimes they even have the potential for redemption after committing a betrayal. One example is Elsa from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. She's an Austrian history professor who teams up with Indy's father in hopes of locating the Holy Grail. After his father goes missing, Indy meets with Elsa and he takes an immediate liking to her. Together they travel across Europe searching for his father, and then about a third of the way through the movie, Elsa is revealed to be a Nazi agent who talks in her sleep. Her actions lead to Indy's capture, and then he and his estranged father have to work together in order to escape and recover the diary. Then at the end of the story, Elsa has a great moment where she manipulates the main villain, Walter Donovan, into drinking from the wrong chalice. And this comes minutes after Donovan shoots Indy's father, and it shows how Elsa is willing to deceive anyone in order to get what she wants. Fourth trope that I love is the masked villain. And this is a villain whose identity is hidden behind a mask, makeup, or some other disguise. And I love it because it adds mystery, suspense, and tension to the story. And it challenges the audience to pay attention to the villain's actions and motivations because we're constantly trying to figure out who is under that mask. And oftentimes this trope will lead to some shocking plot twists and heavy emotional payoffs. For an example, let's look at Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And this, of course, is a superhero movie that follows Cap as he adjusts to life in the 2010s. And about midway through the movie, we get introduced to the Winter Soldier. He's a mysterious, unshakable figure who is a master when it comes to combat and weapons. Initially, we see his face is covered with a mask, and we're left to wonder about his identity. Later, during a shootout, his goggles are damaged, and he removes part of the mask. And this is a great moment because it hints at his buried humanity. Then, during a hand-to-hand fight with Captain America, his mask is fully removed, and it's revealed that the Winter Soldier is an old friend of Cap's named Bucky Barnes, who was thought to be killed in the previous movie. And this revelation has a huge impact on Cap, and it also raises more questions when we see that the Winter Soldier has no memory of his Bucky persona. And then the fifth trope that I love is when the villain wins. And this is very simply when the villain defeats the hero at the end of the story, or the villain escapes punishment or capture at the end of the story. And when done well, this is a great way to surprise the audience. We typically expect the hero to win, and when the villain prevails, we might learn a hard lesson, or we might have to take a deeper look at the story to see what the hero gained. And this trope can make an ending memorable, thought-provoking, or emotionally powerful. One example comes from the movie Rocky, and I won't go into too much detail here because I already talked about this in my Bad versus Good Endings video, but at the end of this movie, Rocky Balboa loses the boxing match of a lifetime. He loses despite giving his best effort against the heavyweight champ Apollo Creed. And Apollo's victory helps make the movie a classic because it forces us to acknowledge that Rocky won in other, more important areas of his life. Another example comes from the classic movie It's a Wonderful Life. And this follows George Bailey, a man who frequently makes sacrifices in order to help his community. And throughout the story, the greedy Mr. Potter tries to take over George's business and loan association, which provides affordable housing to the townspeople. George constantly stands up to Potter while looking out for his neighbors and bailing them out during hard times. Toward the end of the movie, things turn grim for George when his business partner misplaces a large amount of cash that Potter finds and keeps. And without this money, George faces the threat of going to jail and losing his family business. In the end, however, the townspeople rescue George by donating their own money as a thank you for all the good he's done. George never actually defeats Potter, and Potter himself is never punished for taking George's money, but that only makes the ending stronger. It's not victory or justice that saves George, but rather the support of those he's always looked out for. So I hope this helps. Question of the day: what is your favorite villain trope? Let us know in the comments section below. Thank you for watching. If you want to support the channel, please pick up a copy of either one of my books. Bad Parts is great if you like small town horror. It's about people trading away their sick and injured body parts in order to get healthy again. And then Entry Wounds is great if you like thrillers. It's about a guy who picks up a haunted gun and he cannot put it down until he kills 6 people with it. Also, be sure to check out my other videos, like, share, and subscribe. And as always, remember to keep on writing.